Leiden. Good evening, everyone. So tonight we get to talk with the amazing Heather Sullivan. She is new to this platform, or kind of all platforms really, because she's a ghost on social media. But she's a really phenomenal lady that I met in the course of just doing my other job, the one that actually pays me. So I can't wait till she gets here. Hey people, thanks for showing up. Her story is pretty phenomenal. I just got to get my pillow all comfortable so I can just sit here and just talk and ask her questions and learn about her. You know, the thing that I always seek to do here is I want us to feel a sense of connection. And the way we connect to each other is that we share our stories. I just interviewed an amazing lady the other day, Kirsten Duncan. And one thing that came out of that conversation was just the power of connection when we tell our story and we talk about our suffering. And what she learned, and this is what I left that interview with, it doesn't matter why the suffering. It doesn't matter why. What matters is the journey to healing. It's on that point that we connect, on that journey to heal. Oh, there she is. Heather's there. So I'm going to go get her and bring her to the room. Hey, Heather. I'm super excited. Waiting on her. Now, don't make fun of her. This is her first time now. I got you, Heather. All you have to do is accept it now. So I just went in, saw that she came here, asked her to share the screen with me, and Heather's going to accept it any moment now. And we will be sharing a screen together. Let's see. I hope she has a good connection, because we've been having some storms here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Waiting on Heather. Hey, Heather. Do you see that there's an invitation there for you? Hey, Cake Lady. I see all these cool people. Thank you so much for coming. I know you guys probably had a full day at work, whether you're working from home. Okay, let me try to go get her now. Okay, add. Okay, so I'm adding you, Heather. You should see something that pops up and it says Shay Bearfield has asked you. There you go.
Hey, I did it.
You did it. I'm so proud of you. Look at that. Oh, you look gorgeous. Hello, Princess Leia.
Well, honey, let me tell you for real, like about 24 hours ago, I look like Miss Sydney. So,
no, you did not. Nettie.
I did.
Me and my girlfriend used to do that all the time. We're like, oh my God, we just start yelling Nettie and Celia at each other. Wow, you look phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining me here. Oh, Cake Lady. Hi, Heather is like a daughter to you. Aww. Well, she's like a sister to me. Aww. And I just met her, so not too long ago. So Heather, what I was telling the people before you got on was I met you in the course of doing my job that pays me. And that was, I work for a corporation that sells new homes, right? We build and sell new homes. So here comes in this lady who looks so put together, so on point. She knows what she's doing. And she's so articulate. And I almost hate saying that when I speak about Black people, because I'm like, of course we're articulate. But she was so articulate. This had nothing, it just was how she was presenting herself was so far above certainly where I thought I was at that age. And she had this lovely daughter. So here I am. I meet her in the course of selling her home. That's how I meet Heather. So Heather, you started sharing stuff with me and I remember feeling immediately connected with you. Can you tell me what got you here and what has been that big kind of juggernaut of recent that you've been pulling from, like in your life?
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, when we met, I feel like it was just really like an instant connection, like you said, and we just really started sharing. And you shared a little bit of your story, and I really felt compelled. And so I wanted to share. So I do have an 11-year-old daughter who is absolutely my entire world. I love her. However, the way she came to me is not how a child typically comes to you. So it wasn't a immaculate conception or anything like that.
Good to know. Good to know.
So, but I did not give birth to her. And so she came, she was basically, I call her my inheritance. She's my inheritance. And so, my sister, a younger sister of mine, she's battled with addiction and things of that nature. And unfortunately, she passed away. And she left this beautiful 8-month-old little girl. And I was like, okay, I didn't grow up with my natural mother and father. And so I knew what that felt like. It's one thing to know that your parents are out there somewhere, but I knew that, you know, like her mother's gone. And it was very important to me because I knew what that felt like. And I said, you know what? I don't ever want anybody to feel that void in their life, especially someone that's a family member. And I'm like, yeah, I was 25 years old, but I was like, we'll figure it out. So that's how I became a mom.
That's amazing, because that's what I do remember. I remember thinking you were so young and our daughters were like similar age. I was like, she is so together. She's already a mom, got her act together. When I was her age, I was like still picking my nose. Like I just had all the, and it was remarkable. It was really remarkable to me how you became a mother. And what I want to just really say, and I know I've said this to you in private, but you know, sometimes when we do things and it's how we operate and it's how we interface with the world, it's no thing but a chicken wing.
Right.
So this is clearly how you love and how you live. But I needed you to know, and I've said it in private, I want to say it in public. That is not an average response. That is not an average response to have someone's sibling pass away and step in and go, I mean, she's a 25-year-old girl here. She's a young woman. And go, I will be her mother. And I remember telling you the story of a friend of mine in college who was a teacher in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they were going to a family wedding, I think in like Utah or something. And one of her sisters lived in San Diego. And on that drive to Utah for the wedding, her sister and brother-in-law and niece and 2 nephews, they just never showed up. And so they started looking for them. Come to find out, there was a tragic, fatal car accident that they had off the side of really the road. It was, and you know, those mountains are really crazy. And my girlfriend, her first reaction, she's a teacher salary, Oklahoma. Her first reaction was, that's it. Then I'm picking up and I'm going out to California. My sister always wanted her babies raised in San Diego. That's what I'm doing. And I said it to her, and I'll say it to you. Not a typical or average response. That's a big, huge heart, and that's a big, huge undertaking. So I want to ask you, you're now a new mom. You're 25 years old. What now? What do you do? What do you feel in that moment?
It was really one of those situations where I felt like I was just on autopilot. Actually, it was on autopilot. I had actually just moved from San Diego. And so now, right? So I felt a prompt. I felt like God really was telling me to move back to my hometown, which is actually St. Louis, which was so foreign to me because I vowed I would never return there. And so now I'm here in this place, you know, with this child. And then my mother, we had reconciled, but she totally fell apart, which is understandable. You know, her child had just passed away.
Sure.
And so it was like, okay, I had my mom and then I had this child. And it wasn't like she was going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to raise myself while y'all get yourself together, you know?
Right. Right.
It was like, okay.
She's 8 months old.
8 months old.
You've never been married. You don't have a child of your own out of your body. You know what it feels like to not be raised by your family of origin.
Absolutely.
And what you know is that's not happening here, not on my watch.
Absolutely.
But you don't know what you're doing.
I guess that maternal instinct kind of just, because I was working. So I'm like, well, I got to go to work. I got this kid who needs some money, who needs to eat. And
what did that look like? What did those early days look like? Can you step us through some of that?
Lots of tears, of course. I really felt like I was numb. I think that's I was numb.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly felt like I was having an out of body experience.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't me. I was just going through the motions. Like, yes, this trauma, this tragic
Mm-hmm.
Asian passed away. Like, I lost a sister, but I felt like I never really mourned her or had the opportunity to mourn her because I had this baby.
And how old was she when she passed?
22.
Young. Ooh, young.
22. And so it was just me just really going through the motions, not really knowing how to feel, not knowing how am I supposed to be feeling. So I feel like I was questioning myself.
Like, what should you be feeling?
How should I be feeling? I don't even know how to feel because it's so much going on in the household where it was like, well, I can't fall apart. So I just I have to figure it out. I have to make it look like I have it together.
Are you living on your own, Heather?
Not because I had just moved back from San Diego and I was back in my mother's home, which was crazy because this is the first time we had lived together in such a long time. And so now there are clashing of parenting styles.
Sure.
And it was irritating because she would tell me how I should be raising her. And it was like, but you ain't even raised your own kids. So
Right. Right. You're like, wait a minute. Last
right.
time I checked, you didn't raise me.
Right.
Right.
So it was just, like I said, just really going through the motions.
Were you scared?
I honestly don't remember. I probably was scared, but I feel like the way that I grew up, I was so used to, I feel like I grew up faster than my peers because of how I grew up. And so it was like, I didn't give myself permission to be scared. I didn't give permission to.
That makes me want to cry. I'm not kidding.
I didn't give myself permission to have those feelings because it was like, okay, just make it do what it do, figure it out, keep it moving. Yeah.
Okay, so those early days, you won't even give yourself permission to feel fear because you weren't raised in a situation where you could do that. That's just so that I think sometimes we don't even realize that there's a great level of entitlement that comes with being able to fall apart, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because what you're saying to me is, Shay, I have been in the thickets for so long, having to live and raise and really raise yourself probably in ways too. And certainly feeling, there is no worse feeling to me than feeling like an interloper and not wanted. And being in situations where you know you're not somebody's financial responsibility, but they kind of have to still do something with you. That's right. None of that is fun. And what you're saying is, I was at a place I couldn't even have the ability really to give myself the door to fall apart. I think we should hear that. You know, those of us who get to fall apart in our lives, it's a blessing to be able to fall apart because someone's there to pick us up.
It is. And honestly, giving myself the opportunity to fall apart, and it happened years later. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It's just been through, as I've just been navigating life, learning more about myself, and knowing that it's okay to fall apart.
It is.
And I've had to, and because I was on autopilot for so long, without me even realizing it, I was spiraling. I was spiraling mentally. I've had challenges with depression. That's something that I've dealt with even in high school, and even as an adult, you know, I was spiraling. I've had suicidal thoughts. I've even thought and almost attempted suicide a couple of times. But I came to a place and I was like, you know what? Something is wrong. I have to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And for so long, I was raised in a family that we didn't talk about feelings and things of that nature. You know,
right.
house. You know? And so I got to a point in my life and I was like, I need help. I've gotten myself as far as I could get myself. I need some help. And I prayed and I asked God, like, lead me to a place. Unbeknownst to me, at the time where I was working, like literally across the street was a Christian Works therapy place. And I remember walking across the street one day. I was at work and I felt like I am going to end it today if I don't talk to someone.
God, that hurts me.
And I remember I had a coworker and I told her, I said, hey, I need to go talk to somebody. I'm really having a hard time today. I want you to know where I am just in case something happens, right? And so walked across the street, makeup beat, hair laid, got my heels on, looking like
looking together.
looking,
No one would see you from the outside and go,
no.
that young lady is questioning whether or not she should even stay on this planet and earth.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I walked across the parking lot and I went in that day and I told I think it was the intake person, I said, I need to talk to someone today. There are some things going on. I'm having some thoughts. And the lady literally said, you know what, usually we don't see anybody, this day. You usually have to make an appointment. She said, but let me see if there's somebody that I can get to talk to you. And I said, okay. I sat there. This therapist came out, love her dearly. She came out and we talked. And I felt like not only I never gave myself the opportunity to not only mourn my sister, but I also hadn't mourned my childhood. I hadn't mourned. So I had been through so much and I'm carrying all of this weight, carrying all of this, and I can't even function. Like I'm really literally functioning in dysfunction, thinking that's normal to function in dysfunction because I don't even know what that is. Dysfunction had become my truth.
Right.
And so
it was your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's all I knew to do. And so when I walked out of that place, I felt so much lighter. And it was like, I really just needed to get it out. And she was such a blessing to me. We still stay in touch to this day.
Ugh.
It was just like, oh my gosh, I had been carrying all of that. And that was so hard. And it was so interesting. I feel like it was God saying, because I promise I had been gone from work for like 2-3 hours, y'all. Like 2-3 hours.
That's a serious lunch. That's lunch you took.
It was like a half day or something, but I didn't
put
it in.
They were killing the cow. They first had to kill the cow. They then had to raise it, kill it. There was a lot of things going on that day for lunch.
It was. And honestly, when I got back to the office, I felt like God stopped time for me because no one had been looking for me. I didn't have a missed call. I didn't have an email. Like,
ooh, I feel goosebumps.
It was like God was like, no, daughter, you need this time.
Pause. That's what it was like. Pause. This is my baby girl. I'm getting her straight.
Yeah.
God, dog. That is, I hear you talking. I'm thinking to myself, what do you wish somebody would have asked you or done for you when you were in that state, before you got across the street and you see this place before, like, because honestly, that was like a situation where the Red Sea was parted for you. That's a Red Sea moment, right? I call those moments like what do you wish somebody would have asked or said to you earlier? Because that is critical that people hear. You looked beautiful. You looked put together, but you were hurting so deeply. One thing that I say in my writings and musings is that, because I've been going through a lot in my life, is that you cannot trick and fool the body and the mind. It knows, it feels the stress. Even if you think I feel all right, your body is taking it in. Your spirit is taking it in. And after a while, it's like a cumulative effect. It can't keep going on any longer.
Right.
Yeah. No matter how strong you think you are, that stuff will wear you down. So what do you wish somebody would have said or done to you in those early stages when you were really holding on to a thread?
I don't know if anybody could have actually said anything, because honestly, I have always been the one to encourage others, pray for others. So it looks like I all together. And so what's important is that no matter what, always check on people, ask them how they're doing, take an interest, you know, because it would like people, we walk past people all the time when we used to walk past people all the time, walk past people all the time at work, at church, or whatever, and we would not get to know them. And I'm not saying, you know, ask them their life story, but make people feel like they are valued, make people feel like that they have a voice, give people the permission to, you know, share like, hey, how are you? And don't, you know, just treat people basically how you want to be treated, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important, because when you give people the space to and the trust to tell their story, they may be more inclined to say, you know what, today I'm really having a bad day, or today
Mm-hmm.
sucks, or you know, I'm really going through this in my home. And so when you give people the room and share that, I think that's what's vital. That's very vital.
You know what you're saying? It's like this, there's this phenomenon called Parkinson's theory. And it's this theory that meetings will take as long as the time that you allot them, that they will expand to fill the time that you allot them. So what I hear you saying is kind of like Parkinson's law with allowing people to be seen and heard. If you give them the space, if you create the space, they will expand to meet said space, right? And I think that's a beautiful thing. If you say the meeting's going to be, we got an hour-long meeting, then that means it's going to take you guys an hour to get through every last one of those, because the meeting will, you guys will actually expand to meet the parameters of the meeting. And so here you are in your daily life, you live out Parkinson's theory in your life. What you do is you create space that allows people to expand and be who they are and who they're trying to figure out themselves to be. That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. What do you remember after you felt lighter, right? Oh, your people are, you are such an amazing woman. I just want you to know these are the things that people are saying. When you started feeling lighter, what was the thing that you felt like I want to do with this new kind of lightness? Did you continue with you just turned the camera, there you go. I like the nail polish though. I liked it. I liked it. Did you continue with the counseling, or what did you do after you started feeling lighter? Can you hear me, Heather? I think you've pressed. Can you hear me? I think you've pressed something that let me see. Did you mute yourself? Did you? I think you might have muted. Okay, we're going to get her right back, y'all. Oh, there she is. There you go.
Okay, is that better?
That's beautiful. Technical difficulties.
I don't know what happened.
This you're reminding me. You're like the oldest young person I know. You're reminding me of my mom right now, because this is how my mom is. I can't see you. Why can't I? I'm like, because your finger is over the camera, Mom. She's like, I just don't even know. I can't hear you. I can't. I'm like, I have never seen anybody use a phone quite the way you do, Doris Jean. So did you stay going to counseling after that day you felt lighter? And what did your life look like after that? Because I know it wasn't like a magical change, but.
No, it was definitely a process. And I think what we have to learn, I know what I have learned, is to endure the process, go through the process. Sometimes we want to jump to Z, and we still need to we may need to sit at elemental P for a minute. So I know I struggle with, okay, I'm supposed to be over here. Why aren't I here? Well, I feel like we have to sometimes, for me, I had to return to the place of hurt for healing to begin.
Ooh. Ooh, no, that is a quotable one. Return to the place of hurt. I hope you people are hearing that and writing that down. Return to the place of hurt.
Yeah, return to the place of hurt. And I had to do the work. I had to do the work. It's a daily process. It's a daily process. I am
When
better.
you say do the work, what does the work look like?
The work is the work is learning to be present in the moment, learning to be able to identify what you are feeling and give you permission to feel that, because I feel like so often it's like, well, we shouldn't be feeling that, or especially in the Christian world, sometimes it's viewed as like, well, you know, if you walk with God, you're not going to be depressed, you're not going to be this, you're not going to have mental issues, and that's far from the truth. That's far
Yeah.
from the truth.
If I hear you
Yes,
talking that tomfoolery, I'm like, then you haven't lived.
basically, you have to,
And you're lying to yourself.
right? Take both, you know, and so you have to be intentional about seeking the help and not suffer in silence. I feel like some of us
Ooh.
suffer in silence because we're like, okay, well, we don't want people to know what we are going through, and so, but
You think
when
because we're embarrassed of it?
maybe you're embarrassed of it, maybe you know you believe the lies that you're the only one.
I think that's really the thing. I think people feel so isolated in whatever they feel. Yes.
You feel so, and you feel like you're the only one. And so when you feel like you're the only one and you just allow the lies, and I heard someone say before, the inner lies, when you
Mm.
allow the lies to basically just take root, and that's all you listen to, it's like a broken record
Yeah.
over, and that's all you're hearing, then you're like, I must be a terrible person, you know. I
Isn't it funny how the lie
really
is so
suck at this.
consistent? And that the lie, the
Yeah, it's
lie
like
that
putting
comes to you, the lie that comes to me, it all says the same thing.
yeah.
Nobody else, just you, and you're not enough. Like, it's not happening to them because they're better. It's not happening over there. Only you, Joker. It's interesting to me that the lie speaks to us all the same tomfoolery. It doesn't change. It's not creative. It's not a creative lie.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so it's like having to recognize when I hear the lie, like, wait, no, that is a lie. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
What do you
that
bounce the lie off to know it's a lie and not the truth?
for me, I try my best to look at the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
So I am hearing the lie saying you're a terrible person. Everyone will be better off without you.
Mm.
You're not good at that. Then no, because God says that I am the apple of his eye. God says that he created me on purpose, that I was predestined. And so that's not a lie. If I have amazing friends. I have great friends. I have great family. Accountability. And so it's important to have a group, a circle of people that speak life into you. And so if you are hearing lies, but then someone's coming back to you, they're sending you a text and they're like, well, Heather, I think you're awesome. I think you're amazing. You're so good at this. You're so gifted. You're so talented in this. And I'm like, well, how come they saying something different? But
Mm-hmm.
over here, because it's a lie. It's totally a lie. And so I think that's what's important. And also, like I said, doing the work, going to see, you know, your therapist or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
your team,
Doing the
whoever,
work.
doing that work and not
I
allowing.
appreciate you breaking down what doing the work looks like, because sometimes people hear doing the work and it's just this very ethereal thing. I'm like, she's talking about sitting in your suffering, sitting in it, recognizing what you feel, being present in it, and recognizing that it's all right. I'm learning this from you, recognizing that it's all right to feel what you feel, involving other people. Don't stay there alone.
Right.
Lean on your friends. Seek
Absolutely.
counseling, help, people who are actually educated to pull you up and to help kind of reveal the lies and dismantle them with you.
And unpack it. Just
Mm.
unpack it. There's a lot of it's way overnight. And so don't think that, you know, overnight I'm going to be healed. It's like, you know, like I did 5 sit-ups today. Where's my six pack? Like,
Right.
no.
Right. Right. It didn't take you overnight to get that jelly belly, so it's not going to take you overnight to get, to get rid of it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so
So giving
being,
yourself grace with time.
yeah, and being intentional, and don't be so hard on yourself, you know, and thinking you're going to have it all together, like none of us have it all. And you know, and you're talking about writing. I love to write. I love to journal. Like, okay, what is going on? And when I'm, like I said, when I'm feeling something, where did that thought come from? Why am I feeling this? What's going on? Did I just talk to somebody? Did I just hear?
Mm.
what trigger, that's what it is. What are the triggers? Because so what I've learned, I had to learn what my triggers were. And so often I've run away from the very things that I feel like God is using, wants to use to bring me healing and bring me wholeness. But because I've been running for so long, I don't even recognize when when he's trying to bless me with something, because all I know to do is to run.
What have you had your Slumdog Millionaire moments? And what I mean by that is, I love that movie because while he's on this show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you start to see why all of these bits of pieces of information came his way, and they were hard to come. He came by them hard. So what have been some of your Slumdog Millionaire moments where you've been able to go, oh, I see why, and can you share maybe a Slumdog Millionaire moment with us?
I feel like I have so many, because it reminds me of a puzzle, right? So
yeah.
we get a puzzle, and we got this puzzle. My daughter picked out this puzzle, a 300-piece puzzle, right? Got this puzzle. It's scattered all over my table. She put 20 pieces together, and she like, I'm done. I'm tired. How
Exhausted. Exhausted.
Exhausted because she does so much. So anyway, but I look at all these pieces scattered all over my table. That looks like my life. I have a piece over here. I have pieces over here. I have this red piece, and I'm trying to fit this red piece because it looks like it goes within our life. We're trying to jam pieces together, but they don't fit together. And so it looks like it's coming together, but it's really not. And so what I feel like I have learned is that you just got to keep on putting the pieces together. And so now I can look back and I say, oh, well, I see why God had to send me here, and why I had to connect with this person, and why I had to go through this situation, and why this happened. Like, the pieces of my life are starting to come together. It's like the movie is basically coming together. Does that mean all the pieces are together? No, they're not, but they're coming together. And I'm starting to see how the different, like, I've had to be rerouted so many times, but it's to get me to the place where I feel like I'm the most mentally healthy that I have ever been in my life. I feel like I've never felt more free in my life. Never felt so much more confident in myself. Yeah. I'm just at a really good place in my life, and meeting people, just even this divine connection with you and I, just like,
I was just trying to sell you a house.
Trying to sell me a house, and I was like, girl, all I got is $2. So
rub them together. I love it.
So it was just like, and even this, getting me out of my comfort zone. This is something that I've never done before, getting me out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, but if I had not done the work, I would not have been able to probably even meet you, exchange information with you, and even be right where I am before. And so at the end of the day, you are where you are supposed to be, and you are who you are supposed to be, and accept it.
Gosh, you're just dropping it, aren't you? So I want to know, what would you say has been a big takeaway in your life, and even being a mom right now? What has been your takeaway over the last 12, 13? How old is baby girl? Oh, the connection. Oh, we can't hear you again. Oh, that's right. I'll just come and get you again. Can you hear? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to get you again. We're going to be patient with Heather. She's like the youngest grandma in the world with technology. We'll talk about her later. We'll just hold her up.
Shenanigans. That's because they don't That girl, they just enemy mad because we don't want this word to get out. That's all.
Did you hear me making fun of you?
No.
Yes, I was saying this is the oldest, youngest person you'll ever meet. It's like I was like her technology advancements are next level. But anyway, I love it. So what is something like a big takeaway, like something you're like, man, this is, I'm a mom, and I know being a mom has taught you because I know being a mom has taught me. So, and specifically, you had a very unique way to become a mother, a powerful mother. I want to know what has been a big takeaway through the depression, the being a mom, all of it. What is something that you have learned? It doesn't have to be the greatest lesson, just a lesson that you can impart to us. You've already been imparting a whole bunch, but is there one thing that you've learned great out of this process?
I get the opportunity. I feel like God chose to be this person's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest honor to me, because it's one thing when you do basically have a child naturally, but I have such a special place in my heart for adoption, because that means I chose you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like God chose me to be her mother.
Yes,
And
he did.
that is the greatest compliment. The greatest compliment, because as ratchet as I am, and as
You are
a
not.
hot mess as I
No, you're
am,
not.
like you treated me with a whole human being, which is so
Yes.
powerful. And that
You
to
know
me
what I just
is,
thought of?
man, what's that? What you just said?
I don't know if you are, for me, it's just a powerful connection that you told me when shortly after we first met, and when you were telling me how you're a mom and everything, you are a young woman. And you told me, actually, you are in a particular state. And I was like, oh my God, God knew that. I just thought it was amazing. Could you tell them that? Is that too intimate?
Repeat that again.
You know what? I'm just going to be bold enough. I'm going to say what I remember. The fact that you told me that you have experienced early onset menopause.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Oh yeah, I forgot
And I
about
wanted
that.
to bring that up because I knew it was very private, but I was like, I remember when you told me that, I was like, look at God. He knew that, and he made her a
Yeah,
mother before that would even be an issue.
I feel like, yes. So I know that may be a little personal, but anyway, yes, I am in menopause basically, and I feel like God knew to be able to birth my own children, so
Mm.
He gave me a child, not only
Mm.
just a child that's my actual blood, and we look
Yes.
alike, like you know.
You
So I
do.
stopped.
You do. That's what I remember. I was like, what are you talking about? But you know, yeah, of course. I could not believe it because she looks just like you.
And so
Oh,
yeah, so God wasn't going to be able to, have children, so that's why I
I
said
just
she's
think,
my inheritance.
yeah, I love that you call her your inheritance. I mean, this is what when I was a young girl and, my father wasn't really the greatest father. I remember my aunt and uncle, my uncle telling me, Uncle Charles, some years ago, I don't know why he told me this at a young age, but he said, Shay, you can't do anything about how you were raised, but you can redeem it with your life. And that's what I want to tell you, is that you are redeeming everything that ever happened. It just really touches my heart and how you are raising your daughter. You brought the redemption to that story, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yep. That's my love
Oh
bug.
my, I love it. Tell me this, Heather, 5 years from now, where do we see ourselves? Where do we want to be?
5 years from now. Oh my gosh. Um, 5 years from now. Honestly, I don't know. I do, yes. I mean, I do. There are different business ventures that I'm interested in, things that I, want to do, to be able to pour into and encourage others. Because again, that's something that I think I know encouraging comes so naturally to me, because I know
Yeah.
that there's something that I did not have. And so
She sends me an encouraging word every morning. Monday through Friday. It's amazing. And I like them. I'll be in the middle of my life. I'm like, oh, yes. Thank you.
And so it's important to me because I didn't have that. And so I think, actually, I just thought about when you asked earlier, what is it that someone could have said just to encourage somebody means the world, because you literally have no idea what other people are going through, because people can literally be thinking, today's the day, I'm going to end it all, I can't take anymore, I've had it, I'm at my limit. And so it's important to me to pour out and give to others what I did not give, what I did. And just because it wasn't given to me doesn't mean that I don't know how to give it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes perfect sense.
So I would love to be in a position or have the opportunity to pour into others and to let people know
bountifully,
you matter, you're important. Yes, what you went through. Yes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but how you start doesn't mean that you can't finish strong, that you're not a winner. Like, you can totally turn that around.
So, there's a little joke. I thought I was super special, but I'm seeing that you send them to other people too. No, I love it. So tell me, what is, first, I just really appreciate you being so vulnerable and transparent and real with us on your process, your redemption, your beautiful inheritance. I appreciate you taking us through that, because that's where we connect, and we feel not alone in whatever we're going in. See, right now, the power that you're given right now is you're making that person who sits in the silence of the lie know that it is a lie. Yeah. Because you're speaking it, and by you sharing your story, you're already giving them company in that space. And I want you to know that's what I see you doing, and I thank you for it. What is something that you would want the audience to take away? Like, you've gone to sleep tonight, you and baby girl are good, dinner's been great. What is something you want them to take away from this time together?
I think it's important for you to, I'm so passionate about mental health. I'm so passionate about mental health. And I have amazing friends who've shared with me their mental struggles. You know what I mean? And just because my mental challenge or my mental struggle isn't the same as yours does not discount what you're going through, and it doesn't discount what I'm going through. So it's important to, like, if you're having challenges, if you're having issues, if even in this season you feel isolated, you feel alone, reach out. And we may not be able to physically touch one another, but like literally phone a friend, Zoom a friend, whatever you need to do
something
to have that. Absolutely, because we have so many ways to connect with people. So there's really no way, no reason. Shouldn't have to suffer alone. You should not suffer alone, because you do matter. And that's really what I want people to know, that they matter. You are needed. You are chosen. You are gifted. You are talented. You are a child of God. He loves you, and you are important, and your gifts and your talents are so needed in this world, because if you don't do it, if you don't share your gifts and talents, how are we
going to get that? How are we going to get it?
Right, because only you can do what you do.
What you came to bring. So you better bring it to us.
Bring it. Yeah, absolutely. So
I always tell people two things. If you are alive, two things are irrefutable. There's room for you to be who you are, and there's a need for you to be who you are. Room and need, both.
Yep.
You're brilliant. I have a couple more questions. Okay. Very simple ones now. So I used to really love this show called Inside the Actor's Studio. Okay. Loved it. It's kind of like this show that's like this, probably the biggest low budget talk show in the world back in the day. It's before social media, and the host was James Lipton. And it was like our little time that we got to peek into the actors and who they are in their lives and their process. But he would always end in these same questions. And I just want to ask you a few of them. What sound or noise do you love?
Say that again.
What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise? I love to hear the wind, actually. I love to hear
Ooh,
the wind. I really do.
I
And yeah,
love it.
I love it.
What sound or noise do you hate?
The sound I hate. Ugh. Probably, I don't know, maybe somebody, I don't know. That's a good one. Sound I hate. Maybe even the lawnmower. Even though I like being outside, the lawnmower is like, oh crap, they're cutting grass.